Welcome to the Locks and Dogs NFL Picks Podcast for Week 4 edition. We've got the NFL locks and a few dogs that you need to hear, and the podcast starts right now. Mark, how's it going? Week 4 already. Can you believe it?
Maybe I shouldn't have apologized for the Bears. Maybe the Bears should be apologizing to me.
I think that should be the case just about every year, if I'm honest, that they... we always have at least one teary-eyed coach press conference where he details all the challenges that he's had, and then it's been a tough week for the team. We had our defensive coordinator resign in disgrace. Our quarterback wasn't happy with the coaching. We had some stuff stolen from our garage. But that's no excuse to have a week like we had. Yeah, the Bears had a rough week. We did not. According to my sheet, 7 against the spread. I swept Sunday afternoon, went 3-0 in the late picks. Was correct on the Steelers in the night game, so I ended in a 4-game winning streak and split the Monday night game. So I ended on a little 5-1 run. And honestly, I had the Rams as at +3. Earlier in the week, you might have been able to get it +5, +6. I did see it go down to +2. That's what we had it at when we did the show, so that's what we're counting it as. I ended on a 5-1 run, so pat in the back for that. The king of the afternoon slate, the king of the Sunday night pick. We're heading into week 4. What are you thinking after the first 3 weeks? Anyone on auto lock, auto fade? What are you thinking?
I think you got to auto fade the Jets, auto fade the Bears.
Yeah, not a fan of Zach Wilson.
No.
Okay.
No.
I got a question for you. You have to win. You have an NFL average team, an average NFL team that has to win a game playing against another NFL average team. The only difference is you have to choose either Justin Fields or Zach Wilson to lead your team to victory. Who do you choose? They
both look terrible, and both I think both fans of both franchises are pretty much done with both Zach Wilson and Justin Fields.
Yeah, you had Joe Namath calling out Zach Wilson this week. When Broadway Joe has seen enough of you, I think it's time for you to it's time for you to go. I was thinking about Justin Fields, yesterday, and okay, in the preseason, we saw a very limited sample size of him. In that sample size, he looked comfortable. He looked confident. The throws were decisive. We've seen none of that in the first 3 weeks of the season. He looks skittish. We get the happy feet. He doesn't know whether he wants to throw or run. He doesn't make the right reads. Somebody, I forget who it was listening to one of the post-game shows. I can't remember which one. They mentioned that the reason they call so many screen plays is because it's one of the few plays that the coordinator trusts him to execute. Like, it's really hard to screw up throwing a screen pass. Only problem is they throw so many, and teams have kind of gotten used to their tells that, now they can sniff it out, within seconds of, they know when it's coming. But still, the fact that they only trust them to execute screen pass. Either way, yeah, no, I'm with you as far as, looking to fade those two teams.
I guess you could add the Broncos to that list as well.
Oh, it's going to make this week's picks interesting. Two teams on auto fade. 2 teams enter, 1 team leaves.
How do you handicap 2 teams that don't want to play football?
We'll get into it.
All right.
We'll get into that one. Best team we've seen this year so far is still the 49ers.
I would put the Dolphins in that category also.
Yeah, after what they did with that offense, yeah. But then it's the Broncos, and it was the Broncos on the road. I kind of get the feeling that after the first 2 weeks that they were about ready to quit anyway. And then it just kind of snowballed on them, and they ended up hanging a 70 burger. Dolphins or Niners are probably the 2 best teams I've seen. I think that's about right. All right, let's get into it, shall we? Thursday night, Lions at Packers. Lions are small favorite, -1.5 on the Lions on the road. Over under 45. 56% of the early bets are on the Packers. Packers are 3-0 against the spread. Lions 2-1 against the spread. Money line is it's 51-49 in favor of the Lions. So with that information, what are you thinking?
I'm going with the Packers +1.5. They're getting back
Aaron Jones? Christian Watson. They're
getting back Christian Watson.
I think both are supposed to play.
Okay. So I think that's a big step up for them, especially Aaron Jones is a big playmaker for them. The Lions, I kind of feel like these are 2 evenly matched teams.
You thinking home field advantage gives them the tips for Green Bay?
I typically go with the home team on these Thursday night games.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet. It's you don't have to worry about the travel. Again, the travel from Detroit to Green Bay isn't ridiculous, but even still, it is a travel day. I'm on the Packers too. A lot of similar reasons. We got to see Jordan Love. He didn't look great against the Saints defense, but then it's the Saints defense, and they're actually we've seen they've made just about everybody they've played look a bit rough. So I think they're a solid defense. I'm not going to say elite defense, but a solid defense. A defense capable of stopping an NFL offense. They seem to figure things out in the second half. He seemed to get a bit more comfortable, at his home stadium. I expect that to continue, especially in the short week. I think they kind of figured out, how they can move the ball at least through the air in the second half of that game. So I'm on the Packers for that reason. Also, the Packers have been good to us so far this year. 3-0 ATS with an asterisk because it depends where you got the line for that Saints game. The Saints were, I think, plus 1.5, plus 2 for most of it. I think the line did switch at some point last week, so you could technically mark them. 3-0 makes sense, but either way, I'm on the Packers as well. I think that you could take the points. You could just as well sprinkle the money. I've got it at plus 102 for the money line. I'd rather take the plus odds and take them straight up because I think they're going to win anyway. Right. Over under, any thoughts there? 45 seems a bit light for this, no?
I usually take the under on Thursday nights. It does seem a bit light.
They're daring you to take the over.
Yeah.
Is how I feel this one. The Lions went under in week 1, and I think they went under. They actually went under last week too against the Falcons. Yeah, I think the under makes a lot of sense here. The under I think is going to be the sharp play. I mean, let's take a look at the current play. 68% of the bets are on the under already, so the sharp play is actually on the over. Sliding along, London game. You ready for pancakes and football?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Falcons versus Jaguars, I guess we'll call it. Jaguars -3, over under 43. Both these teams coming off a loss going into London. What are you thinking?
Going with the Jaguars here -3. My thinking being is that this is a home game for them in London, basically, because they have done. I think they do a London game almost every year now.
Yeah, they do, yeah. Well, their owner is London ties, so I think you request.
The travel aspect could be a big issue for teams that they haven't played many London games. So that's the biggest consideration that I'm taking here. Well, I don't think either team looks particularly good. The Jaguars have looked mediocre. The Falcons have surprised over the past 3 weeks.
Okay, I think the Falcons get off the airplane running, and they keep running right to the stadium, and they literally run the Jaguars out of the building. The thing with the Jaguars, it's a case of the whole being less than the sum of its parts. I think if you look at that offense individually, okay, you've got Goldilocks, Trevor Lawrence, first overall pick. You've got multiple first-round draft picks in the receiver core, first-round pick at the running back spot, lineman, quality lineman. But again, it just doesn't seem to work very well together for whatever reason. And there's always like a weird mistake. There's always something weird that happens with that team where they just kind of screw themselves over. And that's kind of how I think it's going to play out in this one. You're going to see the Falcons ground and pound, ball control, keep the ball out of Goldilocks' hands, keep that Jags defense on the field. And I kind of like the Falcons D against the Jaguars. So I'm taking the Falcons plus the 3. I could see this being a one-score game. Give me the dog. I'm not sprinkling the money line on this one. I just want the Falcons plus the 3 straight up. As far as the over/under goes, let's take a look. 45.5. It opened at 45.5. It's down to 43. Probably there's been some action to the under. 55% of the bets coming in on the under. I think I go over 40. I could see some points being scored here, even if it is kind of a ground and pound ball control. I will say 73% of the bets already coming into the Jaguars. Falcons could be the sharp side here. Noon games. So after we get done watching the Falcons beat the tar out of the Jaguars, we get first noon game on my list here. Commanders at Eagles. Eagles -9. Over under 45.5. 62% of the bets coming in on the Eagles. 64% of the bets on the under. Eagles 2-0-1 ATS. Commanders 1-2 ATS so far this year. What are you thinking for Eagles? Commanders at Eagles.
Going with the Eagles -9.
What else can you can't after. Yeah, I mean, we saw the Commanders play a good team last week, and we saw what happened, and that was at home.
Yeah, they kind of fell back to earth against the Bills. The Eagles they're playing too well right now. They're at home. Yeah. I don't think there's too much more to say than that.
coming off the big win on the road Monday night, Commanders are coming into the Eagles' nest, and nobody walks into the link and comes out with a dub. Yeah, give me the Eagles -9. I think this game ends up being a bit of a laugher, if I'm honest. I think after seeing what the Bills did to the Eagles last week, I see a similar game script occurring for the Eagles. Give me the Eagles -9. As far as the total goes, 45.5 here. I'd probably lean to the under. I don't think the Commies are gonna be able to score that much against that Eagles defense. I think it's gonna keep it lower than it should be. All right, next up on the list, Ravens at Browns. Browns -2.5. Over under 41. Okay, I've watched the Browns for the past 3 weeks, and I've got, last week was the first week I really paid attention to their defense and what they're doing. That defense is nasty. And it's not just the secondary. It's the way they dominate the line of scrimmage. I'm taking the Browns here -2.5. I think that defense is just too nasty. We've not seen, we've watched the Ravens a bit too. They really struggled against Indianapolis, and when they really shouldn't have. Yeah, that game should have been over like 5 different times. But somehow the Colts kept getting the ball back and were able to tie it, and then they actually won it in overtime. In a game that it felt like the Ravens were trying to give it away. You can't play like that against this Browns defense. They'll stomp on your neck. So I'll take the Browns at home. I'll lay the 2.5. Over under. This one opened at 44. 97% of the bets have come into the under. If I could get the 44, I probably would take the under too. You can't get the 44 anymore. 40.5. At that point, give me the over. I think that this one's in the Vegas zone where there's been so much early action that they push it down so low that now I actually want to bet the over. I think that's where the smart money is on this one. I have a feeling. Yeah, give me the Browns. Give me the under. Or sorry, give me the over.
I like a road dog here with the Ravens plus 2.5.
Explain this. What have you seen out of the Ravens that makes you think that this is the side you want to be on? Is it just the more talented roster, or is there more to it?
I just think the Browns are going to Browns.
The Browns are going to Browns, meaning the defense is going to step on somebody's neck.
I think the Ravens have a better head coach. I think they're more of a complete team. They're more accustomed to winning than the Browns are.
True. I've yet to hear a lie. All right, fair. You do money line or just points?
Just the points, plus 2.5.
Okay, I'm laying the 2.5 here. Next up, Dolphins at Bills. Bills minus 2.5. Oh, Dolphins. A dog after last week's 70-point outburst? Okay. All right, Vegas. Let's see what you got. Hope the numbers here. So far, 51% of the early bets coming in on the Bills. Bills are 2-1 against the spread. Dolphins perfect 3-0. Money line bets. Dolphins getting 64% of the action. So we're seeing folks betting basically 50-50 split as far as the points go, and a 60-40 split as far as the money line goes. So this is it's pretty even on both sides. 84% of the bets coming in on the over, which actually has gone up a fair bit. For this one, honestly, the old adage is you lay the 2.5, you take the 3. It's 2.5. I'm laying the 2.5. I don't feel great about it. I feel like this is Vegas daring you to take the Dolphins. Dolphins coming off the ridiculous performance. I think it's a divisional game. It could be kind of a letdown spot. A divisional game on the road, Buffalo is always a tough place to play. It's not, it's a hostile environment for a team to walk into, especially. I mean, I don't think there's going to be much weather. That's probably not going to be a factor, but it is going to be a hostile crowd. I just feel like this is Vegas is daring you to take the Dolphins with this line. They're expecting the public to be on the Dolphins this week. Especially for what they did. So that's one of the main reasons I'm really on the Bills here is. Just because I get the sense that Vegas is just daring you to take the Fins, and I don't want to take that dare, so I'll lay the 2.5 points. I don't feel great about it, but you got to remember, the Bills, they looked pretty good last week too. They look like they figured out a thing or two on offense. They seem to be, kind of clicking on all cylinders again. Whereas, 2 weeks ago you couldn't say that in that game against the Jets. Also, I think that the Dolphins are a bit better matchup. I mean, when it comes to firepower, I feel like the Bills can score with the Dolphins. You never got that sense with the Broncos that they were ever going to be in that game. So I'm laying the 2.5. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I like the Bills minus the 2.5 points. The Dolphins are running an all-time high. It's never going to get as good for the Dolphins as it is right now. The Bills came back to form against the Commanders last week. Yeah, I think the home field advantage is what gets the Bills the win here.
All right, moving right along. Buccaneers at Saints. Saints minus 3, over under 39.5. Currently 85% of the bets in the spread coming in on the Buccaneers. 66% of the money line bets coming in on the Buccaneers, and 91% of the bets coming in on the under. What do you do with this game? You get the both these teams coming off losses. Saints losing to the Packers on the road, Buccaneers losing at home to the Eagles. What are you thinking here?
I'm locking up the Saints minus 3.
Really?
Jameis Winston revenge game.
I forgot. Oh my goodness, I forgot about that angle. Famous Jameis comes back home. Okay. Well, actually, no, not back home. He's actually, it's a home game for the Saints, not the Buccaneers, so he's not coming back to Tampa.
Yeah, I mean, the Bucs defense looked good on Monday night. Baker did not look so good. I still believe in Jameis. I think he can whip it down the field. He's going to get revenge against these Bucs on the road.
I don't know if you know this, but Jameis had more passing yards on Sunday than Justin Fields did.
That's depressing.
I think he ended the game. He entered the game like halfway through the third quarter and ended up with 101 yards passing. Justin Fields played the whole game. I think he had like 80 yards passing. I'm on the Buccaneers plus the 3. Again, it's the old Vegas. It's the old the old thought process. You lay the 2.5, you take the 3. I think these teams are a lot more evenly matched now than I would have. It's an NFC South matchup. I think it's going to be a one-score game. The Saints, not only they're getting Jameis this week, they're also getting Alvin Kamara back. I do like that for them. That's another, it's another factor in their favor. But I've seen them look too mediocre. I've seen them leave the back door open too many times already this year. And it's only 3 weeks. They should have won that game against the Packers. They were up 17-0 at the half. Quarterback gets hurt and they fall apart. The week before that, it was they're playing the Panthers on Thursday night, I think. And again, they left the back door open for the cover. I think ended up either pushing or the Panthers got the cover depending on the number you got. And I've seen that too many times with the Saints. So I just my trust factor isn't quite there. I do like that it's at home. I like that Alvin Kamara is back. I think they might even be a better offense with Jameis. They might be able to move the ball a bit better. I guess we'll see. I don't think there's that big of a difference, big of a drop off between David Carr and Jameis, if any. But either way, I'm on the Buccaneers. Just because I've seen them be good. I've seen them beat mediocre teams. I think this is going to be a closer game than it seems. As far as over-under, 40 points. All you have to get is 40 points to get the over. I think. Give me the over.
Yeah, I kind of like the over, too. I think we might be seeing
There's just too many weapons.
A Baker Mayfield, Jameis Winston shootout.
That would be wild. In 2023, that's lit. All right, I'm a fan of that. I'm looking forward to this game now. Vikings at Panthers. Vikings minus 3.5. Whoa, the 0-3 Vikings, the road favorite. All right, Vegas. Over under 45.5. So far, 76% of the bets coming in on the Vikings. 97% of the bets on the money line coming in on the Vikings. 53% of the bets coming in on the over. Okay, what are you thinking here?
You would think that this is the saddest matchup of the week. We'll get
No. Not even close.
We'll get to the saddest matchup next. But this is also a very sad matchup of the 0-3 Vikings and the 0-3 Panthers. I'm going with the Vikings minus 3.5. The reason being is that I think the Vikings have more talent on their team than the Andy Dalton Panthers do. The Vikings have to win a game at some point, and I think it's going to be against the Andy Dalton Panthers.
Okay, I'm taking the 3.5 points. Have you seen the Vikings record in one-score games? I don't have the exact number in front of me, but it is awful. They had every chance to beat the Chargers at home. I've never seen two teams try harder to let the other team win than I did in that. It was just like no. We're going to screw up. Okay, here, take the ball back in the 20-yard line. With a minute to go. No. We don't think you're going to score. No, and they didn't. I was in the Vikings last week. I'm done with the Vikings until I see them play better. I kind of like the Andy Dalton Panthers. I think they look like a professional football team.
They look better than they did with Bryce Young.
Yes. He ran. I was expecting to see that offense look better. Again, I think this is going to be another weird one-score game. The Panthers at home, their fans show up, believe it or not. Vikings on the road, I don't trust. I just don't trust. I have no trust in the Vikings. They're going to shoot themselves in the foot. It's just we've seen it too many times in a very short season. So I'm out on the Vikings. This is another Vegas zone line. They're daring you to take the Vikings with this minus 3.5. I'm not taking the dare. Give me the Panthers. I would even consider the money line here. So to give you some idea of where I'm thinking, over under 45.5. So far, the Vikings are 1-2 against the over, 1-2 to the under, and Panthers are 1-2 to the under. 53% of the bets coming in on the over. Give me the under. The game script for the Panthers is that you want to try to ground and pound it a little bit. Get your short passing game, take your shots where you can, but just try to keep the Vikings defense off balance, and then just kind of let the Vikings beat themselves on offense,
which they're capable of doing.
Which they've done so many times. No, I think the Vikings are better. I think you're right as far as the talent, but in terms of the execution, sorry, I think there's something fundamentally broken here. It's like a video game roster. They put up they put up stats, they put up points, but they don't win games. That's my takeaway. I've had this one circled on my calendar for a while because I had a feel. I was optimistic about the Bears. I'm not optimistic about the Bears anymore. I was never optimistic about the Broncos. Broncos at Bears. Broncos, who just lost by 50 points to the Dolphins, are the 3-point favorite. Okay. You know that I'm an auto fade on the Broncos. You mentioned that you were auto fade on both of these teams. Battle of the auto fades. Who do you auto fade?
I got the Broncos minus 3.
Okay.
Both these teams are dumpster fires. With the Broncos, at least you had a very high powered offense that picked away at their defense.
Yeah.
With the Bears clearly do not want to play for this head coach. I'm
going to disagree with you there. Okay, continue.
It seems like they've already packed it in. They don't want to play for this coaching staff.
Okay.
That being said, I think it comes down to coaching. I think Sean Payton can get a win.
He's capable. We've seen Sean Payton win games where Matt Eberflus is 3-17 as a head coach.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to disagree with you as far as the Bears quitting. I did not see them quit. I saw them play badly. You got to remember. The defense still picked off Blaine Gabbert twice in garbage time. It's Blaine Gabbert. I'm aware, but still, the fact that they were, they were still trying against Blaine Gabbert, indicated to me that they did not quit on that game. I was 50-50 on this one. I'm taking the Broncos minus the 3. Reason being, I don't think the Bears can score enough points or move the ball effectively enough to win a game. I also see the Bears make the stupid turnovers a lot more often than I see the Broncos make the stupid turnovers. The 70 points is embarrassing. Yeah, that's going to get the headlines. You got, again, against that offense, it's a road spot against a high-powered offense that was already comfortable. The Bears don't have a Tyreek Hill. They barely. I don't even think they have a Raheem Mostert, if I'm completely honest. They don't have a Tua. That's for darn sure. So I'm not too. I don't see the Bears being able to run up and down the field against the Broncos the way the Dolphins did. I do. The Dolphins, they still scored 20 points last week, and that was in a game that was like way out of hand. So I think they bounce back. I think they let Russ cook a little bit, and I like him as the minus 3 road favorite here. I don't love it. I'm not going to lock it up. I'm probably going to bet it over under 46 points.
I'm on the under.
This has got to be an obvious. Yeah. I mean, it's an obvious under. Let's see. 68% of the bets have already come in the under, which is odd to me. Bears are actually. This is weird, actually. Okay, the Broncos 2-1 to the over. Bears 3-0 to the over. And if they set this one at 46, and this one's set at 46 points, I don't see these. I see this being, a freaking pillow fight. So I'm going to call it a 20-14 final, and the Bears score a special teams touchdown. So that's where I'm at on this one. What a poverty matchup. I'm sorry. This is two of the saddest teams. Both 0-3 against the spread. So one of them is going to cover.
It's going to wind up pushing.
With the 3, watch it 2017. Yeah, wouldn't that be horrific? Next up on the list, Bengals at Titans. Bengals minus 2.5, over under 42 points. What are you thinking here?
The Bengals look good on Monday night. They look like, they've shaken the rust off.
Joe Burrow does not look healthy.
No, but he hung in there. He made the throws that he needed to make. I
suppose, yeah, he did. And they relied heavily on Joe Mixon.
I'm going with the Bengals minus 2.5. I know you've been on the Titans the past couple of weeks. I was on the Titans last week. An injured Joe Burrow is still better than a healthy Ryan Tannehill.
I don't disagree with you there. However, Bengals are 0-3 ATS so far this year. Titans 2-1. I'm switching my pick. I wrote down Bengals. I'm flipping to the Titans. Tighten up. Give me the plus 2.5. Titans at home. It's going to be a rock fight. We've seen this Titans game script like probably 50 times in the past 2.5 years. It's going to be a rock fight. Come down to the last possession. They're going to kick a field goal to win. It's going to be another weird Titans home win. I have a feeling. Give me the Titans plus 2.5 money line sprinkle. Over under. We got the number at 42.5 is where the number's at. Both these teams have played to the under so far this year. I think they're going to continue to. Give me the under 42 points. All right, rolling along. Rams at Colts. Colts minus 2. Colts the home favorite. Is it Anthony Richardson? Is he going to play this week, do you think?
We haven't gotten word on that yet. He was in concussion protocol last week, so it's conceivable he could come out of concussion protocol this week.
It bears watching. Honestly, I thought they looked pretty good with Gardner Minshew. They got the win last week with Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
So far, 77% of the bets. So far, 77% of the bets ATS coming in for the Rams. 87% of the bets on the money line coming in for the Rams. 67% of the bets coming in on the over. Give me the Rams. It's a weird road spot. It's a dome. So I think that's probably going to play a bit more to the Rams' favor than having to play outside because their home stadium is a dome. I just think the Rams are just they're just a veteran professional team. Again, a lot like the Titans. I think we said the spread is +2. I'll take the 2 points. I'd rather sprinkle the money line and just be done with it. But either way, I like the Rams to win this one outright. I think they're the better team. So that's really the only handicap I have there. I just think they're the better team. So as far as the over-under, it's odd to me that the over is getting more action at 45 points. Because I think the Rams can score with the Colts. I think they can put up points there if they need to. So I'll lean to the over. Don't love it, but probably won't bet it. But that's where my brain is telling me to go.
I'm going with the Colts -2 on this one. I was impressed with how they played against the Ravens last week. It seems like things are coming together for them. Honestly, I would rather see the Gardner Minshew Colts than the Anthony Richardson Colts.
What if the Ravens just aren't very good? Have we thought about that?
We need more time to sort that out.
All right, fair enough. So that's where my head's at. Like, what if they're? I mean, I feel like we've seen we saw the Ravens struggle against the Texans in week 1. Like I think they ended up covering, but that game was a lot closer than it probably should have been. And I feel like it's every week where they look like they should come out and dominate, and they just don't. It just you end up getting like a 1-score game in the fourth quarter, and then it's just like coin flip at that point. So that's kind of how I feel. I don't know. Either way, next up on the list, Steelers at Texans. This one, Steelers -3, road favorite, over under 42. You know where I'm at on this one. What are you thinking?
I'm going with the Steelers -3.
Okay, this line makes no sense. Why is this? Okay, why is it only Steelers -3?
I think they're high on the Texans because they got the win the week before.
They beat the Jaguars though. And granted, it was a good road win, but okay.
Yeah, I mean C.J. Stroud has he's looked okay, like he's passing for a lot of yards, but yeah, I don't see him standing up against the Steelers.
He's also been able to limit the turnovers so far. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he faced the Ravens in week 1. Last week was the Jags. Who did he face in week 2? Do you remember? So C.J. Stroud, so far he faced the Ravens in week 1, and the Texans offense did not look great. For 20 points against the Colts in a loss, and then they wrecked the Jaguars in week 3, in which they were. It seemed like every time we saw a game break, there was a Texans receiver was running up and down the field. I think the Steelers have the best defense that he's faced. Also, if you look at the Steelers' record with T.J. Watt in the lineup, they're like unbeatable. I think there's like some they're like 8-1 last year with him, and like 1-8 without him. I believe it was. T.J. Watt is healthy and he's in the lineup. So guess what? The Steelers are just the more talented team. I don't mind that I don't mind that they're on the road. We saw them, go into Las Vegas and get a good win there. Steelers Nation does travel, and it does matter. I don't know if you listened to the post-game comments, but they made sure to highlight that it was more like a home game for them in Vegas last week than it was a road game. It wouldn't shock me if they had equal numbers showing up in Houston this week, or if not, maybe a little bit less, but it's probably going to be similar. So I'm laying the 3 points. I think this is a lock. This line is Vegas daring you to take the Steelers. I just think the Steelers they're just a better roster. Like you compare that 52-man roster to the Texans 52-man. Maybe you consider taking C.J. Stroud over Kenny Pickett. I would probably rather have Kenny Pickett, but I enjoy betting and winning money on the Steelers. Let me put it that way. So anyway, Steelers, I'll lay the 3. As far as the over/under goes, so far 61% of the bets on the over, and it's up to how many? I said 42. I'll take the over in this one. So far, the Texans are 2-1 to the over. Steelers are 1-2 to the under. But the 2 games they went under, I think it was last week against the Raiders, who can't move the ball, and I think when they got wrecked by the 49ers, I think that was an under also. So I'll take the over in this one too. That takes care of the early slate. Heading into the afternoon, first afternoon game. Oh boy, this game. This is another poverty. I don't care what anybody says. This is another poverty game. Raiders at Chargers. Chargers -6. Over under 47.5. What are you thinking here?
Chargers -6.
Have you not seen the Chargers like go out of their way to try to give away games? They got out Chargers by the Vikings last week.
The Raiders don't look much more impressive. And I think yesterday, and I don't know how this is, I haven't had any updates on this, but it looks like Jimmy G is in the concussion protocol.
All right, I'm on the Raiders here. So far, 63% of the bets coming in on the Chargers, ATS, 93% of the money line bets coming in on the Chargers, 61% on the over. All right, I'm on the Raiders, and there's a couple of reasons. Number one, this is essentially going to be a Raiders home game. Okay, the Raiders going back to LA, they've got, their fan base travels, they'll be showing up in numbers in that stadium. So it's going to be basically a home game for the Raiders. Okay. And we've seen, again, the Chargers are another team where the whole is less than the sum of the parts. You look up and down that roster, it's a talented team. I don't trust the defense for anything. The only reason they managed to get the win against the Vikings is because the Vikings out Chargers the Chargers. I think they're going to find a way to make it closer than it should be. It's either going to be a backdoor cover or the Raiders are going to win outright. Okay. I don't really care who the quarterback is for the Raiders. I don't really think it matters. If anything, I would kind of hope that it would push the line up. So if you could maybe get the Raiders plus 7.5, that's, so I'm probably going to wait on this one and see what happens there. And if I can get that number, I'll definitely take it. As far as the over,
it's also worth mentioning that Mike Williams went on IR as well.
No, they got receivers.
They do. Yeah.
They got that first round pick that they haven't thrown the ball to at all yet. Maybe he'll be able to, get off the milk carton and actually get into a box score. 47.5 is the point total. The Raiders are 1-2 to the under, Chargers 2-1 to the over. One of those games was against the Vikings, which they tried to score all the points. Give me the under. I think it's, again, this is going to be it's a divisional game, home game for the Raiders essentially. It's going to be a bit of a rock fight. Give me I'll take the Raiders plus the 6 and give it the under. Honestly, if the under hits, I like that game script a lot better for the Raiders than I do the Chargers. Next up, Cardinals at 49ers. 49ers -14, over under 43.5. Do you believe in Josh Dobbs, Mark?
I don't. I'm taking the 49ers minus the 14. I realize the Cardinals are your team now. You should just retire and move to Arizona.
You have no idea how tempting that is.
It's too hot in Arizona.
Not in the winter. Okay, I'm on the Cardinals plus the 14. I think 14. They're not that bad. Okay, I think they're okay. Let me get the numbers here. Cardinals 3-0 ATS so far this year. 49ers 2-0-1 ATS. So far the bets, 56% of the bets coming in on the 49ers. 76% of the bets to the over. Moneyline bets 94% coming in on the 49ers. And it's honestly a similar logic to last week. Everybody the Cowboys are going to moon pound the Cardinals. Nope. They don't get blown out. They're not good, but they don't get blown out.
Yeah, but the Cowboys, I guess I should have expected that from the Cowboys. I don't expect this from the 49ers.
Okay. Let's make sure we get a recording. I don't expect this from the 49ers when the Cardinals cover the 14-point spread somehow.
It can't go on forever.
Yes, it can. I believe in Josh Dobbs. Rolling along. Next on our list, Pats at Cowboys. Cowboys -7, over under 43.5. 68% of the bets coming in on the Patriots. 81% of the moneyline bets coming in on the Cowboys. 68% of the ATS bets coming in on the Patriots. 81% of the moneyline bets coming in on the Cowboys. 96% of the bets coming in on the under. What are you thinking here?
I'm going to make the same mistake as last week. Give me the Cowboys -7.
You are going to make the same mistake as last week. Give me the Patriots +7. Bill Belichick teams don't get blown out.
They barely beat the Zach Wilson Jets last week.
I mean, it's on the road. Okay. You're right. No, they covered.
Yeah.
They covered the spread. So hey, Mark, good teams win, great teams cover. And the Pats are just going to show their greatness again this week when they cover the 7 against the Cowboys. Yeah, my thought process is that, again, Bill Belichick versus Mike McCarthy. I know Bill Belichick is he 70 yet?
I don't know.
He's got to be cruising. He's got to be closer to 70 than he is 60.
Yeah.
I think he's still got his fastball a little bit. Yeah, but either way, he's going to scheme up that defense. They're going to frustrate Dak. Dak is going to be seeing ghosts instead of Zach Wilson. You're just going to see the Patriots just hang in there. It's going to be a 1-score game coming down to the wire. I don't know. I'm not going to bet the money line, but I can tell you that I think the Pats are going to cover. Chew up the clock with Ramondre. Let Mac Jones make a few throws. I'm really not. I think they can. They showed that they could. They did a decent job blocking against the Jets last week. I think the Jets D line is actually. I'd rate them a bit higher than the Cowboys. I think they can block, and if you can block, If you can block a play, you can run a play. Is my thought process. Give me the Patriots +7. This is Vegas daring Cowboys fans to bet to lay the points. I'm not taking it. Give me the points in the Pats.
I think the Cowboys are the more talented team.
I don't disagree with you. There's no we're not talking talent. We're talking covering. Again, we're betting with our wallets here, Mark. Not with. If the Cowboys might be the better team on paper, but I don't recall a game ever being played on paper, Mark. Takes us to Sunday Night Football.
There's a lot of sad games this week.
It's Chris Collinsworth and Mike Tirico on Sunday night, isn't it? Yeah, I kind of feel bad. They're gonna have a lot. I hope they work on a list of topics before this one because I think this is gonna be a laugh.
There's no other game they can cut to.
No,
like they did last week with the Chiefs.
Does Taylor Swift show up in New York?
I guess we'll see.
Do you think there'll be a book that'll take odds on that?
Yeah, probably.
Does Taylor Swift show up? Oh man, we need that prop. I would, if I'm honest, I would put her -200 that she's in attendance. I think she's going to be in the sideline. She's going to be in attendance for all the games here and out.
How does that change the Travis Kelce anytime touchdown? Because if she's there, then he has to score.
Yeah, that was. I mean, yeah, you're 100% correct. He has, Pat has to hook him up. He's got to take care of his boy in front of his girl.
Interesting. Well, pay attention an hour before kickoff whether or not Taylor Swift is going to be there, and then you can place your Travis Kelce anytime.
I mean, okay, it's a primetime game, so she's going to get eyeballs on her in New York. That it's a major market. It's going to it increases the eyeballs. I think she shows up. I mean, I'm going to look for a book where I can I'm the one handicapping. Does Taylor Swift show up at the game or not? I'm probably putting it -200. Yes.
I mean, it'll give NBC something to talk about at least.
There you go. And they're going to need something to talk about because the Chiefs are going to freaking moon pound the Jets. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Chiefs defense is actually pretty good. They've tightened up quite a bit from last year, as far as I can tell. So yeah, I see the spread. It's -9.5 is the spread. Over under 42.5. Give me the Chiefs. I'll lay the 9.5. I don't care that it's on the road. I don't trust Zach Wilson, and I think the Chiefs. I don't see the Jets being able to score more than they did last week against the Pats. But I do see the Chiefs being able to score a lot more points than the Pats could. Give me the Chiefs and a laugher.
Yeah, I got to lock up the Chiefs minus the 9.5.
Yeah, I don't care that's on the road at all. Over under at 42. 97% of the bets coming in on the under on this one, believe it or not.
You have to remember the Chiefs scored 40 points on their own last week against the Bears.
Oh, yeah, but the Jets defense is a lot better than the Bears. But even still, I think they're going to be able to do what they want against that defense. The Seahawks at Giants. Giants -1.5. Over under 46.5. What are you thinking?
I like the Giants -1.5. The Seahawks have looked good, the past couple weeks. The Giants, They lost to the 49ers the week before.
Yeah, in the awful Thursday night game.
Yeah. Again, it's a Giants home game. The Seahawks are traveling from West Coast to East Coast. Yeah, give me the Giants -1.5.
Okay, it's West Coast, East Coast, but it's Monday night. That doesn't bother me as much in a Monday night game. I just think the Seahawks are the better team. That might be completely off base, but you look up and down that roster, you look at the weapons they have. Is there that big of a difference between Geno Smith and Dan Jones?
Dan Jones makes more money, I think.
I think he does. Yeah, so if the difference is paycheck, I'm having a hard time trusting a Giants defense.
Yeah,
they've been sloppy.
Yeah, I think they're both pretty evenly matched. The Seahawks running game looked really good.
I'm a big Ken Walker fan.
Yeah.
I ended up drafting him in fantasy quite a bit, and he's been delivering for me so far.
Do we know if Saquon's coming back this week?
Rumors he has a chance to play.
Okay.
My guess is no. I think they hold him out another week. I don't think there's any reason to play him. Well, I take that back. They probably should play him. But either way, give me the Seahawks on the. I know it's the Seahawks on the road. I'll take the 1.5. I don't trust the Giants team. Like I just look from a trust factor. I know that the Seahawks can score, and I know that they can defend. I think they can defend enough against the Dan Jones Giants to get the job done, to get the win. I do think it's going to be a close game. I do think it's probably going to be a one-score game again. I think there's going to be a lot of close games this week. I kind of give me Seahawks by a field goal. I'll take the 1.5. I even sprinkle the money line on this one, but that's where I'm at. So, okay, that's the week. Locks for this week.
Lock it up the Chiefs -9.5.
Locking up the Chiefs. Okay, I'm locking up the Steelers -3. Dogs. You also wrote down the Saints as a lock. I see here. Is that also? Are you doing double lock? Also lock up the lock up the Eagles. My lock for the week: Steelers -3. Extra lock. I had Eagles -9. My dog is the Falcons. Bonus dog.
Cardinals.
No, it's not my bonus dog is not the Cardinals. Bonus dog. Yeah, bonus dog is the Rams. So, bonus dog is the Rams. And who are you on this week again? Just quick recap.
My locks will be the Chiefs -9.5 and the Saints -3 in the Jameis Winston revenge game. Dog will be the Ravens +2.5, and then alternate side dog will be the Bears money line.
That dog's definitely got fleas. All right. This has been the Locks and Dogs podcast for week 4 of the NFL season. Check out locksanddogs.com for the latest gambling picks and news. Hit that subscribe button to get notifications for the latest episodes and leave us a review. Mark loves 5 stars. I'm okay with anything. Give us 4 stars if you think so. Just tell us why. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Locks and Dogs. That's the full 3 words, Locks and Dogs, just like that. For Locks and Dogs, this is Matt.
This is Mark.
And we'll see you next week.